In this video, traders, I'm going to give you my advice for dealing with prolonged periods of poor performance in the market. Stay tuned. Hey guys, warm welcome to you. All right, so I say advice, but hey, there's no advice. This is kind of what I do, and I never recommendation for you. You've got to make your own decisions, as with all trade things, guys. Ultimately, you are at the front line. You're the one making the decision. It's your money on the line. You should make your own decision, take all the information and decide what to do. So, periods of prolonged poor performance. Now, I've added the prolonged part into it because there's a distinct difference between, hey, you know what, I'm just not getting it, to I've not been getting it for a long period of time. You know, if you are a profitable trader, you have gone through many periods of poor performance. That's just the way it is. The best in the world do it. You've been doing well, all very well, all of a sudden things don't start to work, but you know how to deal with it. You step back off the throttle, you do all the things you do, and most of the time you're going to recover and you're going to be fine. Worst case scenario, you have to step back for a longer period of time, come back in when the market's right, because you understand your strategy, you understand the confidence in your strategy, you understand all these things. However, you know, if you're a trader who's been, you know, well and truly stuck in this period of poor performance for a prolonged period of time, you're like, okay, I just can't get it, I just can't get it. You know, you've got to really take stock of the situation and go, things just aren't working. What is the biggest thing that is impacting this? If it looks like that, then, you know, maybe your strategy just really bad strategy. Maybe you're trying to short stuff in an uptrend. Maybe you're just out of tune with the market, whatever it may be. Which is what most people's strategies look like, equity curve looks like. It's this, bang, those are periods of tilt, when you really have to take stock of your discipline, your mental clarity, your focus. And so, if you're going through prolonged periods of poor performance, it's looking at the shape of the equity curve. If the equity curve, just like this, jagged with big moves lower and kind of consolidation moves lower, or is it constant drip, 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 drip? If it's constant drip, 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 focus on the strategy. I suppose you should rewind a little bit. Just take a step back from the trading. You know, use the time that you would normally trade to reevaluate what's going on, to appreciate what's going on, to review and say, hey, what does the equity curve look like? Is it this, or is it this kind of continued downtrend? If it's that, start with the strategy. You know, if you're getting poor performance, prolonged poor performance, and it's that shape, it's probably the strategy that's wrong. Maybe you are positioned long, maybe you're positioned kind of literally the wrong direction. The market's a bull market, you're looking for shorts all the time. You know, there's little upticks, so when you're long, most of the time you're looking for shorts. Maybe it's a trending environment, you're trying to fade breakouts. Maybe it's a mean revert. You know, something's probably wrong with the nuts and bolts of the strategy. You know, for it to be that clean and that kind of steady grind is not usually a mindset problem. It's not usually a kind of discipline issue. Well, this, on the other hand, this kind of jagged, okay, doing a right bang, doing a right bang. This is discipline. This is normally going on tilt. This is kind of breaking rules. And so you start at that point. So depending on whichever equity curve you've got, you start at that point, strategy or discipline. Now, if it's a discipline issue, you go, okay, well, what exactly what's the common theme running through each of these biggest moves? And it's probably going to be that you went on tilt. It's probably going to be that, hey, you know what, I had a couple of bad days that just wiped out a massive amount of profit. And maybe your equity curve is kind of up, and then boof, and then it's up, and then it's boof. You know, maybe it's more like that, which is actually not a bad thing, because if you can deal with this and get rid of those big flushes to the downside, those big tilt things, you can start to kind of bolt these on and you can get some decent performance. You know, and even this, guys, you know, the strategy sometimes can just be flipped on its head and like, well, listen, just think about what I'm doing here. This is my equity curve. What about if I flip the strategy around? All of a sudden I started trading breaks instead of mean reversion. How would that look? All of a sudden I started trading with the trend instead of against it. How would that look? You know, sometimes it's just literally taking the objective look of the period of poor performance, of prolonged period of poor performance, lots of P's in that, and going, okay, what is it? And then identifying, rather than saying, oh, well, it's my mindset. Well, no, it's probably your strategy. It's, oh, it's my strategy. You know, start from one point. Hopefully this gives you a position to start from, at least maybe shortens the process a little bit, and go, hey, you know what, I'm on tilt. This is, how do I go on tilt? Why do I go on tilt? How can I prevent going on tilt? I've done a video, probably several videos, guys, exclusively about, trading on tilt, how we prevent it. And a very quick summary, you can go and dig into those if you want to get more detail, is we have to find the pattern that causes us to go on tilt first. So normally as a pattern, 2 or 3 losers in a row. Is it a bad start to the week? Is it persistent losers? Something that then causes you to trade a big hole and do this. If it's that, you got to find out what the pattern is and prevent that pattern occurring, rather than try and stop yourself in the middle of the damage that's being done. But that's another topic. So identify, hey, what does a matrix curve look like? Is it kind of jagged? Is it kind of going okay, but with these horrible moves, or is it just horrible moves and down? And then focus on that. Strategy or mindset, one or the other. Start with one and then go, right, I'm going to start with this. How does my strategy look? What would it look like if I made these changes to it? All right, well, that's a starting point to move forward. Then you get back into the market, you make those changes and you see what happens. Has it worked? Has it been effective? Has it made any change? Yes, no, great, well, I can iterate. From the mindset perspective, let's not dabble with the strategy. The biggest mistake, guys, that people make is they try to do everything. Like, oh, well, I'll try and run my trades, and I'll try and add this strategy, and I'll try and be better disciplined, and I'll try and just focus on what you think is the one biggest thing that if it changed would have the biggest impact on your trading. Work on that, then the next, then the next. And guys, dealing with prolonged periods of poor performance. Oh, the other thing is, hopefully this is obvious, dial down your size. Your capital, your mental capital, and your financial capital is the most important thing as a trader. If you lose that, it's game over. So protect it, dial down the size, do your analysis, work out what it could be, work out what changes to make, and hopefully you can get things going back in the right direction. Take care, guys. See you next one. Bye-bye.